Martyrs is a 2008 French horror film directed by French horror director Pascal Laugier, whose name I'm sure I butchered. Born in 1971, he has produced a few horror films. Like most directors, he started his career doing shorts, and then from there, he got his first feature film, House of Voices, a movie which to me is pretty mid. It's a 5 out of 10 at best, but it shows potential, and I think that potential comes through the most in his 2008 film, Martyrs. Again, just to kind of get to the point, if you're looking for a movie that is heartless and depraved and is best described as the best horror movie I'll never watch again, then 2008's Martyrs is for you. As another sort of warning, there is an American remake of this film which is god-awful. It is absolutely terrible. I have no problem saying that. It's really, really bad, and you shouldn't waste your time on it. I would recommend Martyrs to anybody who is comfortable with films like Saw, anything that is sort of along the lines of, like, frankly, torture porn. This really is the one for you. It has achieved cult classic status because of its brutality and its sort of lack of humanity. This is a very depraved movie, and if that's your thing, then I heavily recommend it. The director portion of this video will be much shorter than usual. The director, Pascal, has not directed much, and what else he's directed I would really just call standard horror fare. I bring up his first film, which is... It's a little overly complicated, House of Voices. The plot could use simplifying, but there is competent camera work, there's competent direction, there is acceptable acting. Same can be said of his later films. The Tall Man, which is a pretty, like, poorly received film. It's not great. Incident in a Ghostland is his other feature. And he also has a French film called Mylène Farmer, City of Love, which I do believe is just a music video. He is a man who has a clear visual direction, but doesn't really have much else going on other than in Martyrs. It's really all my opinions on him as a director. All right, let's dive into the plot of Martyrs 2008. Again, I would recommend heavily the French version of this film. The movie opens up with one of our main characters, Lucy, escaping from a abandoned warehouse where it's obvious that she has been tortured. She here is an 11, possibly 12-year-old girl, where she afterwards is adopted into an orphanage. Here she meets her best friend, Anna, who will be her best friend for life. 15 years after the fact, Lucy and Anna decide to take revenge on those who tortured Lucy. The movie doesn't delve into how they find these people. All that you're given is a scene where Lucy and Anna, with guns, arrive at a modest French home that's actually pretty beautiful and blows away the entire family. It's also about this time we start to figure out that Lucy's got some issues. She sees a monster, we believe at first, that we just later learn is a version of herself, a hallucination that is causing her to self-harm, and eventually she does have her own life taken. And then her best friend Anna is promptly then kidnapped by a mysterious man and tortured. This is a Saw-esque film. It is definitely torture porn, like I've talked about before. This is a movie that I adore. It's a cult classic, but I would probably not return to it. I've seen it, I think, now 4 times. It is harder and harder to watch every single time. This is a movie that does not hold back any punches. It is pretty brutal. And as the film continues, we learn that Anna and Lucy, amongst many others, are being tortured to the point of near death by a mysterious organization who want to learn what happens after we die. That is sort of the point of what it is they're doing here. They're trying to bring whoever they can, particularly young women. There's something about young women that brings out this ability to see what happens after death. Part of that, obviously, is building into the theme of misogyny, violence against women. That's a pretty clear theme going on in this movie, and it's what makes Martyrs the director's strongest film. Our 2 leads are both wonderful actresses, and then we have the Mademoiselle, who is the woman in charge of the organization, also a fantastic actress. I would say the names, but they're all French, and I'm afraid of butchering them. But they all do a fantastic job. Anna and Lucy are both great until, obviously, Lucy dies. Mademoiselle is great. The other characters that we get throughout the film, while not given too many lines or too much presence affect what they need to affect. The ending itself is probably the thing about this movie which earned its cult status. The Mademoiselle is successful in bringing Anna to the near-death point. She discovers what is in the afterlife and informs the Mademoiselle in a whisper in her ear. The Mademoiselle, who has a crowd of people gathered outside to learn the news, instead decides to put a gun to her temple and blow her brains out with the information that she has just been given. We never get to find out what it is that she saw, which makes sense. It's not a statement that this movie is really trying to make. It's really more about misogyny and violence towards women and just general brutality and depravity. This is a movie that I think is fantastically shot. It's horrifying. It's tense. It's gut churning. It'll make you very squeamish. It'll make you kind of anxious. It's got some good scares in the beginning with the sort of monster hallucination that Lucy deals with. It is a wonderful film, and again, it's one worth watching one time. Very much a Requiem for a Dream-esque film, but one I would recommend, and I'm going to go ahead and give this one an 8 out of 10. Thanks again for watching. I've been Zach, you've been you, and this has been 2008's Martyrs. Feel free to hit the like button. It helps me out quite a bit. Subscribe if you'd like more content, more reviews. I try to post as many as I can throughout the week. The goal is 5 a week. And feel free to share with your fellow film buffs. See you later, Space Cowboy.